Welcome to the Winter Games. Surprised to see us? It's understandable. The COVID pandemic has seen the usual calendar of World Cup events that open the season down here cancelled. So, instead, it was back to the drawing board for the organisers to try and come up with a format that could work within the restrictions. So, first up, they've harnessed New Zealand's best assets, the Southern Alps. Next, you have some of the world's best skiing and snowboarding talent, an embarrassment of riches. You name it, Olympic medalists, Freeride World Tour champions, and some of the best film riders on the planet. And finally, you've got New Zealand's best cinematographers who are documenting the most creative contest format ever seen on New Zealand snow. This is Winter Games Obsidian. Welcome to the Minaret Range in the heart of the Southern Alps. Today, it hosts the Freeride competition, and the action's going to get underway very shortly on the face below me. But before it does, let's take a look at exactly what the Winter Games Obsidian is and what's happened so far. Obsidian is an unconventional event in every sense. Action sports are traditionally individual pursuits where athletes specialise in disciplines like halfpipe, freeride or slopestyle. In contrast, Obsidian will see 3 teams of 7 athletes partnered with a film company. The teams are captained by 3 legends of New Zealand snow sport. The yellow team is led by the ultimate all-rounder Janina Kuzma. The green team's captain is the big mountain powerhouse, Sam Smoothie. And finally, Jossie Wells, New Zealand's most successful competitive skier, is in charge of the red team. They will all compete in 5 events. The first 3 you should recognise. Big air, send it on a huge jump and do your best tricks with style. Freeride, you have one chance to draw a smooth, technical line through natural terrain. And a park jam, man-made rails and snow features that will require creativity and technical prowess. The 4th event is called the Mountain Shred. Each team is allocated a resort and given a day to film a 3-minute edit that will be judged on athletic performance. The 5th and final challenge is the Obsidian film, a 7-minute edit that tells the story of the event, but there is no brief. The filmmakers have complete creative freedom. The team scores are dictated by the highest placing athlete in each category. The teams will get 100 points for a win, 80 for second and 60 for third. Each team has one joker that they must submit before the event starts. They can play the joker in any event except the overall edit, and it will double their points. Lastly, there is the podium sweep. Take 1st, 2nd and 3rd in the men's ski, or 1st and 2nd in the other 2 categories, and you'll take 20 points. And whoever comes out on top after all 5 events will walk away with this, the Edgar Challenge Trophy. The big news in Big Air was that Janina Kuzma played her joker.
Poor decision.
So double points at stake for the yellow team. And with very strong early performances from Team Kuzma's Finn Billis and Jackson Wells in the men's skiing, it seemed like the joker was in safe hands. But Nico Porteous, who'd had a shaky start to the day, found his groove with back-to-back 1620s and snuck in for the win. The downside was that his team captain, Jossie Wells, suffered a broken arm. In the women's, it was a standoff between Team Kuzma's Zoe Sadowski-Sinnott and Team Wells' Margot Hackett. Zoe had her heart set on landing her first double cork 1080, but couldn't make it work, and Margot's consistency handed her the win. In the men's snowboarding, Tian Collins and Carlos Garcia Knight pushed each other incredibly hard. Tan struggled with his cab 1440, and so his tech was trumped by Carlos's finesse. Overall, Team Wells took first in every category, so a convincing win. Team Kuzma took second, which the Joker turned into 160 points, and Team Smoothie have some work to do at the bottom of the table. So a very well-played Joker for Team Kuzma, and despite the broken arm, a solid performance for Team Wells. That first day was all about freestyle. Today, it's all about freeriding. And that means heading deep into New Zealand's Southern Alps in helicopters. Watched over by the mighty Mount Aspiring, the Minaret Range will host today's competition. More specifically, this rather steep and cliff-strewn face behind me. Snow conditions are variable, but the terrain offers a massive range of choices to suit every style of rider. The headline, as the riders gathered for inspection, was that Sam Smoothie had something up his sleeve. Well, in his pocket.
Big surprise here.
Joker. Double down.
Oh no.
That mocking could be legitimate, as one of Smoothie's strongest freeride talents, Hank Billis, will be joining Jossie on the injury list. He'll be replaced by the very competent Jamessa Hampton. Now, if you're new to the world of freeriding, fear not, we've built a perfectly pocket-sized guide that'll bring you up to speed.
Whew, how do you win? You kind of got to send it.
Oh, a beautiful cross hill there, and then sending the bottom with a huge
You got to make a big impression and really stand out from the crowd, and winning freeride runs tend to be fast. They tend to have big airs in them and just superhuman levels of control.
And he's going into a backflip zone.
We give an overall impression score. It's based from 5 criteria. So line choice.
Spin a floating 3 into the exposure above the Hoydle cliff and then pin it to a different landing. Yes, he is.
Technique, ski technique.
The neck, you can see quick turns there. He resets his angle to get it just into the perfect landing spot.
Air and style, what they do off the jumps.
The tail off the top hit.
Fluidity, whether they stop, how they link things together, and control, whether they're crashing and putting hands down.
Down to the waterfall, we'll see what he will throw here. Huge air to the double.
It's not timed, you don't have to get to the bottom in the fastest time. It's quite a wide open interpretation of how people get down the hill.
So that's what the judges want to see. We're going to start the competition today with the men's snowboarding. The field offers a full spectrum of experience, from hardened freeriders right through to the greenest freestylers, one of which is the first man to drop. Tian Collins, first freeride competition he's entered, first time he's been in a helicopter, and he's dropping first. Making his way over that icy traverse, he's found some good snow in the first chute. Dropping off that first bench, got a bit of room to work now, and he's looking pretty tidy. Now, another drop, and he's shown this venue a clean set of heels as he starts to arc out the turns onto the apron.
That was so scary dropping in, but it was so fun. Nah, so hectic.
Next to drop, Carlos Garcia Knight, 5th place in the slopestyle at the 2018 Winter Olympics. Hasn't been seen in a competition vest much since, because he's been out in the backcountry. Oh, and he's just got flushed through that tight pinch. Stayed on his feet though. Just getting bucked there into the back seat as he comes off that drop. He's done well to hold on to that. Now he's coming down to this last step on the rider's right-hand side of the venue. Oh, and he's gone big, but it was a deck chair of a landing there. So disappointment for Carlos Garcia Knight, just 50 points. This run was so ambitious, you could see what he wanted to do. The snow conditions just didn't play ball though. Despite seeing Carlos struggle, JJ Raywood had opted for a similar line. But in exactly the same pinch point, he lost his footing, and that would pin his score back to just 37.3. Veteran Will Jackways was also drawn in by the terrain, but was undone by the difficult snow conditions. case of what might have been for Will, who, despite a beautiful tail grab to finish, had to settle for 54.3.
It was challenging, but I don't know, like parts of it were good snow. Other parts you had to really control yourself.
Next in, we have the freestyler turned freerider Ronan Thompson, a real all-terrain vehicle. He's on the same side of the face as both Will Jacquays, Carlos Garcia and I. And he's gone 360 off the top feature there, manages to hold on to it as he barrels through the steepest section of the face. Finds his way into that same pinch, but he's coming at it from the looker's right-hand side. He's threaded it and stayed on his feet and gets a lovely frontside air off that cliff to exit. Now he's back into that icy snow, and he's managed to stay on his feet onto this last drop. He's controlled the speed, a lovely melon grab. Ronan Thompson out onto the apron, and that is going to be a very, very impressive score. The judges giving that a 93.
Snow was a bit like hectic at times, but nice in some points. Definitely kept you on your toes. It was nice to see these boys go beforehand, and I obviously saw that main chute wasn't on, which was nice for me, so I took the right side. So obviously helps going last.
So the dream start for Team Smoothie and their joker. It's a podium sweep for Ronan Thompson and Tian Collins. Team Wells have Will Jacquays and Carlos Garcia in the middle of the pack, but a nightmare start for Team Kuzma. Earlier on, we sat down with both Jess Hotter and Craig Murray to find out more about arguably the hardest skill in freeriding, choosing your line.
Finish gate, and this transfer air! Holy!
9, going big every time, and he continues.
Line choosing is a mixture of an art and a science, I think. My kind of method is that I look at the photos, look at possible hits that I'd be interested in and whether they link together as a line, then come out here and see whether they go or not. For me personally, I really look towards having big areas that you can shut down speed. If you have any issues coming out of a drop, you need to be able to kind of get your stuff back together to be able to start skiing aggressively and go to where you want to go next. And something that flows really well, so something that's not a bunch of traversing, but it all just kind of leads into each other.
I think a huge part for me is like being able to be on top and feel where you want to go and not just having your mind set on something. One of the key things is definitely trying to pick out signs and little pointers that you know you're going to be able to see as you're skiing down. It's pretty rare that you will not have any issues or changes in your line.
The trick is to look at the face like a map and try and remember all of the streets, like of all of the hits that you think go and that you'd be interested in. Try and remember where they are, because if something goes wrong and you miss something, then you're like, oh, I know there's another hit just over there that I can do.
Visual inspection is the biggest challenge in elite level freeriding. But in the women's category, there are some heavy hitters who know the game. Claire McGregor had witnessed the snowboard men's fortunes on the rider's right-hand side of the venue and yet still chose the same line. It didn't work out for her.
I don't know about that.
Or Jess Hotter, both of them getting caught out in that same part of the face.
I missed my middle air, but hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Like Carlos Garcia and Zoe Sadowski-Sinnott has been spending more and more time in the backcountry. This is her first freeride competition though. So let's see how she gets on. She's creeping up onto the first cliff above the bench, and there's a lovely transition there. She's got Tian Collins' track to use as a guide, and you can see the 3 steps in the face very clearly there as she comes in all just swimming there, managed to hold on to her edge. Clips the corner of that rock drop, puts in a turn, and a clean face with a lovely suitcase method to finish.
How'd it go? All right, sick. Oh, that's awesome. What you do is so hard. I don't understand.
5. So back to the top, Janina Kuzma, the last of the women to drop, and she's coming down that rider's left-hand face with some very strong turns to open. You can see the experience oozing out of her here as she makes her way through this little rock garden and onto the first of the steps. A lovely turn up in the top there. It's the same cliff as Tian Collins and Zoe Sadowski-Synnott. Comes through, but doesn't pull off to her left-hand side. By the looks of it, no. She's coming into this little double here. Pops down through that one and gets another strong turn in as she comes down to the little bottleneck out onto the apron. And that is the strongest line we've seen today. Experience trumps youth.
Knowing your line on this face was really crucial because it was so short and the features came up so quickly, so you really had to be on point. So yeah, I guess definitely being more of an experienced rider will shine through.
So a lockout for Team Kuzma at the top of the standings. Janina and Zoe Sadowski-Synnott taking first and second. Disappointment for the freeride specialists Jess Hotter and Claire McGregor in third and fourth. Let's head back up to the top now where Finn Billis is doing his last-minute inspection.
Good bit of Kiwi sketchiness, eh? Walking down rock and ski boots. Love that.
Finn is one of the crossover athletes who could upset the apple cart for the big-name freeriders in the men's skiing. Let's get the last and most hotly contested category underway. So first skier to drop is Jackson Wells, best known as a park skier. First man on skis to land a quad. Hops his way in, then just hooks in underneath the rock wall there, and he's setting up close to the chute. It doesn't look like he's going to put a turn in. A straight line from start to finish through that very, very tight pinch, and he burns out onto the apron. They were warned off taking that line. All of the judges and the forerunners told them that there'd been melt freeze on that snow because of the heat radiating off that rock wall, and yet Jackson Wells pulls straight in there. Look at that, he must clock at least 120 kilometers an hour here. Very, very impressive. Jackson Wells with a 67.
Hey, get it done over quickly, eh? Less time on the skis, the safer you are.
Next in Nico Porteous, bronze medalist in ski halfpipe in 2018. He's already won the big air. Can he leave an impression on the freeride day as well? We've seen a lot of the snowboarders and the female skiers struggling through here, but some quick turns. Very, very good control. He gets across that cliff band, the little rock drop at the top, and he's heading in to the skiers right now. Very tight, compulsory drop chute, and he's done well to get through that. For a freestyle skier, that was a very, very ambitious line, and he's made it look way easier than it was.
That was sick! Oh, that was low.
Very impressive score for Nico Porteous. 79.6.
I kind of decided as I dropped in to try that. Snow conditions were good and I knew where I was going. So I just sent it for the boys.
Well, while the crowd of athletes was relaxing at the bottom, the tension was building at the top.
A little bit nervous, to be honest, but I think I'm going to take it easy at the top, take it slow, and then hopefully ease into some faster stuff down lower. But we'll see. It's sick up here. Start zone's epic, right on the true summit.
Yeah, Craig. 5, 4, 3, yeah, boys. 2.
Craig Murray, the most experienced of the current crop of Freeride World Tour athletes. Just coming across the fall line from the summit here. Drops into the very top there, and this is a fairly exposed area. Where was he going there? No one had spotted that line so far. Very, very impressive drop, and now he's into some exposed terrain. He's coming right down the front of this ridge. He's got to set up his speed perfectly here. He's doubles the first, it's a triple through there. Lily padding that big central section and floating over a roller at the bottom. That was intense, Craig Murray. Take a bow. That is our new benchmark, 95 points for Craig Murray.
Something else. It was more technical than I thought it would be, actually. Did a couple wrong turns, which meant I missed a couple things, but overall, I'm happy. I haven't tried to ski that technical in a while. It's not often you put yourself in a situation like that and expect yourself to just be fully technical capable, and I wasn't quite there, but I'm pretty happy to be on my feet and get a bit of a rush.
95 points for Craig Murray, and that is the target for Team Smoothies skiers, who are desperate to claim double points with their joker. Jamessa Hampton laid down a very strong, clean line. But a lack of exposure meant his score only reached 71.6. That left Bo James Wells and Sam Smoothie to deliver. Blake Marshall took a similar route to Jamessa Hampton down the face and was rewarded with a 77.6. If you watch carefully, you can see his pole snap clean off on the exit here. Next up, Finn Billis. One of those incredible crossover skiers. He can do it all in any terrain. Opens up with a fast, confident 360 and lands very, very deep. Does an incredible job of shutting down the speed there. Now, takes a breath as he works his way into this steep section of the face. We've seen so many people struggle there, and he throws an effortless shifty off that nose. He comes down onto the last lip. Flat 360, that is the consummate run. He had all the control and technicality of a free rider, but then he added in the grace of the freestyle. A brilliant run.
Things definitely popped up pretty quickly. I was kind of anticipating that. The takeoff of the first hit was quite sugary, so I know I had to take a little bit of speed to just hold my line, so I was pumped that it worked out.
90.6 for Finn Billis. It's good enough for second place. Next in is Bo James Wells.
Pretty gassed.
Bo, are you ready?
I'm fully ready.
Okay.
Quite a bit of pressure on Bo James Wells to deliver on Sam Smoothie's joker. He makes his way out onto the skiers' right-hand side of the venue. Cuts in at the very top up there. Right out on the side there, just pops off that outside ledge. And then another clean line. We've seen so many people come unstuck here, but he's playing it safe. Exactly the same line as Finn Billis, except for that top feature. And without the rotations critically, so a very, very clean, solid run. But maybe lacking a little bit of flair.
Survived.
So one man left to drop. The fate of his joker is in Sam Smoothie's hands.
Joker's been played.
He has so much experience, more than anyone when it comes to visual inspection. What line has he chosen down this venue? So he's cutting hard to the right at the top of the face, very similar to Craig Murray. He's coming through here with so much speed. Is he going to opt for that same drop? He's cut his way through there. Craig Murray dropped that section. Smoothie's come around the back of it, and he's setting up for the same lily pad triple. Fights his way down onto, he's sat back. Oh, he somehow managed to hold on to that. Bounces out onto the apron, right in the back seat. But legs of steel, he stood up on that one and somehow saved it. Look at the replay on this. Bounces down. That's where he's come through. So much experience and just raw strength to hold on to that in the most exposed part of the face. Very, very impressive.
Oh my lord. It's so variable and so bizarre. Really complex, tight venue.
Green team machine!
Green team! How'd you go?
Good, bro.
It looked good from what I could see, man. Nice one.
And you smashed it. That looked bad.
Oh.
So a score of 85.6 for Sam Smoothie, and this is where it slots into the overall standings. Craig Murray in first, Finn Billis in second, and the green team captain on the joker takes third. Very impressive performance for Nico Porteous, the half-pipe specialist, who finishes in fourth, ahead of two freeride specialists, Blake Marshall and Jamessa Hampton. The straight line, sadly only good enough for eighth for Jackson Wells. So how have the teams fared? The Joker has paid off for Smoothie, and a podium sweep means 220 points. Team Wells in second with 80 points, and Team Kuzma down there in third with 60. In the overall results, that boosts Team Smoothie to the top with 280. Team Kuzma are on 240, and from first to last, it's a fall from grace for Team Wells.
Has your heart rate got back to normal again yet? What a phenomenal competition. My advice would be get in the kitchen and make yourself a nice cup of chamomile tea to calm down. That's 2 events down. The third event, the Park Jam, is coming up next. We'll see you then.